Welcome back. Welcome back. This is The Real Down. Your host, Sam Jones here. Unfortunately, tonight, I do not have my co-host, Dan Perry, with me, but I do have an awesome guest lined up for you. Justin Hausner of NYKBF in the house. What's going on, Justin?
Hey, man. Yeah, good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm super stoked to have you on tonight and talk a little bit about you and your trail out there in New York. You guys got a kind of an interesting format and some cool stuff that you guys do. I think it's going to be fun to talk about tonight. So thanks for being on The Real Down.
It's my honor. I love it. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, you have a good holiday and all that, kind of getting into the middle part of the month here, but still, how was your holiday?
Yeah. Yeah, it was fabulous, man. I welcomed my first kid in just before Christmas, so the holiday was kind of a blur, but in a great way. It was a long a long process for us trying to have our first kid there, and finally happened. So I mean, it was just a blessing. So it's the sleep is getting to me a little bit, but I'm a tournament director, so I'm used to not sleeping, so I'm all right with it.
Gotcha. Okay, I know a little bit about what that's like. I've got a soon-to-be 1-year-old next month at the house, but still not sleeping through the night. So I understand completely where you're coming from there, man.
Yep.
So all right, well, now we know that you're a new father and a tournament director. We know that. Let's get to know a little bit more about you. How'd you get into fishing?
Yeah. I run a kayak shop up here in the Finger Lakes region, central New York, called Fuzzy Guppies. We do kayaking, recreational fishing, touring, all that fun stuff, canoes, stand-up paddleboards, rentals and sales, right in the Finger Lakes region. So keeps me going pretty strongly through the summer. So kayaking's always been, a love of mine, for many years, and developed NYKBF a few years back and kind of just started running with it when kayak fishing started getting a little bit more popular. And we've been seeing it actually grow and boom in our area for the past few years, and it's really, really exciting to see. So just kind of kayak fishing blossomed from actual kayaking, so which is pretty cool.
Nice. So how long have you been doing the kayak thing?
About 11 years. I've been an actual kayak instructor, so I got my kayak certifications through American Canoe Association about 10 years ago. So I'm a licensed instructor for actual canoeing and kayaking techniques and skills.
Nice.
And yeah, so I give lessons from everywhere from your basic, power forward stroke to, rolling tactics and stuff like that over the summer. So it's a pretty cool direction that I came in from that angle. But I've kind of seen when we first started the company, kayak fishing wasn't a real thing, wasn't really that big. There were a couple companies that had a couple, models out that were basically just sit on top kayaks that, had some flush mounted, rod holders, on them kind of things.
Right.
No real seat comforts or anything like that. It was just horrible.
Right.
Compared to where we're at now. But it's been pretty cool to see the growth and development of that brand, of that line, over the past 10 years. It's pretty gnarly, really.
Awesome, man. So you've been around from day one, it sounds like.
It feels like it. I mean, probably not. I'm sure there's probably more out there I just didn't know about, maybe. But
gotcha.
it was pretty cool to watch, the forming of KBF when that started out, and the growth that's blossomed into, and obviously spurring other things such as the Hobie BOS and the Bass series and everything like that. It's pretty cool to see the growth.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely a cool time to be in kayak bass fishing, that's for sure. So let's talk about you as an angler. When did you pick up the pole for the first time?
Yeah, well, I've been fishing, pretty much all my life. I grew up on Lake Ontario.
Oh, nice.
And fished them tributaries a lot. So Oak Orchard, which is a really well-known river system, I guess, or inlet from Lake Ontario around here is known for like trout and salmon, stuff like that, in the fly fishing months. But it's also a great smallmouth fishery and things like that. So I've been fishing that forever from the banks, really.
Okay.
And just something I do with my family. And then obviously getting into kayak fishing about 10 years, 10 years ago, and kind of just a horrible mess, falling into the water pretty much every other
Oh
time,
wow.
and growing from there. So it's definitely a trial and error thing, which was my which was my route. I remember, and it was from the get go. That everybody has it. There's a story I like to tell. I give lessons every summer on regular kayaking,
Mm-hmm.
and I was maybe 5 years ago or so. I was given a lesson to about 20 Girl Scouts on like a Girl Scout, all their parents and chaperones and things. They had put them all in the water. They were all out in front of me, and I was giving them lessons from the bank. And I kind of just launched my kayak and just meant to like jump into it and just flipped it right,
Oh
like just
man.
like kept
Total turtle.
and yeah, and you can tell like I totally ruined my rep with them for the whole rest of the day. They did not trust a word I
They
said
weren't
for the
bought
rest
in
of the day.
anymore, huh?
So everybody's done it, and everybody learns, their own their own way. That was a learning day for me, but
Nice.
that's just kind of sums up my like past in a kayak, I guess, for just learning as I went and enjoying every minute of it. I just have a blast.
Awesome. Awesome. So, you know, anglers, kayak anglers, aren't necessarily kayakers, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Sure, I know
there's a,
exactly what you mean.
you know what I'm saying? So, what's the biggest mistake you see guys making in a kayak, or more specifically, with a paddle?
Um, well, a lot of it, basically in my what I see just from a minute level, honestly, is their technique. A lot of people when they're paddling, they'll use their arms a lot more than they should when paddling. I think that's what derives most people to want motors so much, to be honest with you.
Okay.
We'll talk about that maybe later, but proper technique is kind of all in the core, so it's all moving side to side, one with your body, and it literally makes you a little bit, not a little bit, it makes you a lot more efficient while paddling. What happens when people get really tired really quickly is when they're just pulling with their arms, and they're basically making that bicep do all the work, and I see it every single day when I go out, on tournaments or go out. It's just people just trying to muscle through and just pull with their
Mm-hmm.
arms instead of, rotating with their body. So that's probably the main one. I see a lot of, well, not so much anymore because we've been getting really strict on it, but we have month-long tournaments now through New York, and we do see a lot of people going out without life jackets.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an issue with kayakers or kayak anglers, or if that's just a common sense kind of thing. But especially up here with the water temperatures and stuff, we don't mess around with that. We DQ every single fish if we catch a fishing without a life jacket. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I
you know
agree.
you know what I
Wear your
mean?
life jacket. There's no reason not to. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I can relate to the paddle thing too. I never watched a single video on paddling or took a class or anything. I just got a kayak, got a paddle, and went out and did what I thought I was supposed to do. And I found myself like I was a strong paddler. I was getting where I wanted to go, but I was really struggling to maintain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maintain that speed that I wanted over a long stretch of period. So I went and I kind of watched some stuff on YouTube, and I'm still got a long way to go. I'd like to get better at it, but yeah, absolutely. I think that's the story for most people. We just want to get out and fish. We don't worry too much about how to paddle, but if we would learn how to, we'd be a lot more
Right.
efficient on the water.
Yeah, and I know it's hard to say because you want to like just grab it and go, grab your paddle and jump in and go. But I kind of relate it a lot. I grew up as a golfer, so when I would take a lesson or something, and the teacher, or whatever would change my grip or change my stroke or swing or something like that.
Right.
It was like the most awkward motion in the world. It was just, this is wrong. It can't be right. And I relate that a lot to a kayak paddle stroke. If you start, you're doing it, just any which way, and then somebody comes and teaches you the correct way, it's going to feel really awkward. It's going to feel really weird. But if you work on it, you keep working on it and get, make it feel smooth and make it feel right, it's going to help you. It's going to help you so much in the long run.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So we know you run and operate a kayak shop there in New York. You've been fishing most of your life. Let's talk a little bit about this club you run, this trail series. New York Kayak Bass Fishing is the club, right?
Yep. NYKBF. Just a few years ago, we've been seeing a lot of growth, which is really exciting. Obviously, when we first started out, we were getting maybe 8 to 10 competitors at a live event. It kind of was very informal, just a bunch, obviously just a few friends getting together, kind of a thing.
Sure.
And it's really blossomed, really blown up. I mean, 2019, we saw our biggest event at about 70 anglers.
Wow.
Which for New York is amazing. I think it's just really exciting. And last year we averaged about 50 to 55, in our series all for the whole year around. Which, I mean, in 2018, we averaged maybe 20, 25, at an event. So it's
doubled almost. Yeah.
It really did. Yeah.
That's
and
great.
we kind of have hopes for it to even grow, even more in 2020. We got an amazing schedule. We got some amazing prizes and everything like that lined up, and we just have fun. So we really try to welcome anybody.
Awesome. Well, we'll get into that schedule here in a little bit. If folks are watching on YouTube, you can see that schedule already below Justin there, and then to the left we've got some pretty cool pictures that Justin has shared with us of himself and some of the other anglers within the club. So we'll talk about those here in a minute as well. But let's get into some of the details of your club and the format and how you guys are running it. So is this a member-based club? Is it completely open? Do you have to sign up and pay a fee? How does that work?
Yeah, no. It's completely open. Anybody can join. They can do one tournament. They can do them all. As a non-member, everybody's welcome. We do, however, have a membership structure that we implemented for last year that I think worked over really well, and we're going to continue doing it. When you sign up as a member for NYKBF, you get discounts on all of the live and online tournament entry fees. Okay. So it's kind of like I look at it as our membership program as kind of like a frequent flyer program.
There you go.
The membership is $50, and you get $10 off every live tournament entry fee. So if you did 5 of our tournaments, your membership's paid for. And then everything after that's just bonus. It's just saving you money. But the other perks that you get, we do a Angler of the Year competition that is only for members. And the 2019 Angler of the Year walked away with about $4,000 worth of prizes. From a brand new Jackson kayak to a $300 Bending Branches paddle. And the list goes on. I mean, it was 2 pages worth of gear and stuff. It was pretty awesome.
Wow. Who was your 2019 Angler of the Year?
2019 Angler of the Year was a gentleman by the name of Jake Moulton. He's out of Syracuse area. It came down to our very last tournament. It was a race between about 7 people. So how we do it is we have 9 tournaments, plus our state championship, which is a 2-day tournament.
Nice.
All of our tournaments are your top 3 fish.
Okay.
In length, obviously, just like KBF and everything. Top 3 though, and then except for the championship, that's a 2-day tournament, best 5 fish for both days.
Interesting.
And then what we do is your Angler of the Year bag is a combination of your top 5 tournaments. So like if you if you only did 5 of our tournaments, that we would add those 5 together and that would be your bag. But if you did every single one of our tournaments, we would take your top 5, your highest, your longest lengths, and add them together, and that would be it.
Okay, so let's back up a second real quick. So your Angler of the Year. No, you're fine. You're talking through it, and I want to get a better understanding myself, and I want the listeners to kind of grasp this too. So your Angler of the Year is not based on a point structure. It's based off of your overall total length, correct?
Correct.
Now, does your season include online and on-site events?
So the Angler of the Year is just live events that we do.
Okay.
But we do have like month-long tournaments that we start in May that are open to anybody. Anybody can join, but those are not towards Angler of the Year.
Okay. So a guy fishes 5 events and it adds up his total length, and that's how you select Angler of the Year. So with that being said, a guy may need to be a little bit strategic about the places he chooses to fish, right?
Yeah, big time. So I think like with the down right below here on YouTube, but you see our schedule. So a lot of people they can only do the 5 events, or they can't do them all. So they'll pick those top 5 that they know that they can do well, and they could have a great bag for the Angler of the Year. Whereas another person says, well, I'm doing them all, and we'll just we'll just take their top 5 of their list. So it kind of forces people to, attend our live events, to get involved and everything like that, and to really invest them into there. Another cool thing is, like I said, the championship, our last tournament that we do, is a 5 fish bag. We allow the member, the Angler of the Year, the people that are racing, to include their best day into their bag. So they're like, it kind of forces people to kind of attend the championship a little bit more, because it is a 5 bag limit, so it's going to be a bigger fish limit.
Okay, so you don't decide Angler of the Year at the last regular season event. It goes into the championship, right? And you add your best 5 from the championship to your overall length total, and that's how you crown an AOI.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we carry it all the way to the end, and we have, like, this year for our championship, we had a race of, I think it was 6 or 7 people that were all within 3 inches of one another. Like, they were really close knit.
Wow.
And it all boiled down to how they finished the championship, which was pretty cool. So at the end of our state championship, we had a huge event for actually the winner of the event, and then we had another big celebration for crowning the Angler of the Year, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that, actually. That's pretty interesting. I've seen different variations of that, but you guys have really kind of thought through it. I like how you've got it going all the way to the end. Do you have any maybe negative feedback about that from anyone in the club? Does everyone seem to like that format? You have any requests to go a little bit different? How do you guys handle that, and what's some of the feedback you get?
Yeah, I think people really, from what they've told me so far, like I said, 2019 was the first year we've done it.
Okay.
We've gotten so far we've gotten a lot of good feedback coming back. People have been re-signing up for 2020, which I think is sign to me that they like it.
Sure.
But it basically keeps everybody involved right from the start to the very end. So far so good.
Awesome. Well, I like it. I can't see why too many people would complain. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, everybody does it a little different. And when we started, when we wanted to like have an Angler of the Year race, we did look around to see what other people were doing, and and something different. Does a point structure? Does
Right.
some way different? So we were like, oh well, let's try this. Let's see how it works, and we think it worked out pretty well.
Cool, man. Very cool.
For us, anyway.
So, real quick, why 3 fish over 5 fish, and why that difference between regular season and the championship?
Well, the championship we kind of just milk as a weekend event, so we kind of we encourage people to kind of camp out and stay there, and really just like fish, all day. The 3 fish limit, we've kind of found that the lakes that we do, the smaller lakes and everything like that, it's just an easier limit to hit. Okay. I guess I would say.
Okay.
We go for girth and we go for like size of the fish. So New York has some pretty big fish in our Finger Lakes region. So
yeah,
we want to see that bag of 319s or those 20 plus fish on there. So
is it?
We haven't seen. Yeah, go sorry.
It's okay. Is it mostly a smallmouth game for you guys there in the Northeast?
No, I mean it's a good bag really of between the two, small and largemouth, but it all really depends on the season. Mm-hmm. So our tournaments that we have in April and May, you're going to see a lot more smallmouth on that just because of the season that it's in. But once you start getting into June and July. We have one in August this year, or 2 in August. But those ones, you're going to see a lot more topwater, dock punching kind of frogs, things. You'll see a lot more largemouth then.
Nice.
But yeah, no. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
So before we started recording, we were talking, having some conversation, and of course, this is a hot topic within the community, so I always bring it up. And you told me, hey, going into 2020, it's the first year we're going to allow motors. So let's talk a little bit about that and how you guys came to that decision, because I think that'll be an interesting topic for the listeners here.
Yeah, it was a pretty involved conversation that we've had with our membership. We wanted to make sure everybody was involved with it because, I mean, it is, in kayak fishing world, it's pretty much the number one topic, and debate, I guess, that we have. I'll be honest, I was the one in our series. I have 2 other tournament directors that helped me during the series, and I was the one that was pretty much hitting the brakes on it, saying, I don't think we should do it. I'll be honest, I lost the debate, which is fine. I'm not bitter at all. No, just kidding. But in the long run, we went to the we tried to do what's best for our series. A lot of people, KBF, Hobie, everybody, everybody's allowing motors. Neighboring series in our area are all allowing them, and we were kind of the last holdouts.
Okay.
So people that were coming to our events would literally have to take off motors to come and fish our events.
Gotcha.
Which honestly for 2019 I was fine with, and for I was okay with it. I was like, take it off then. Right. Leave the battery at home. It's fine. But for the size lakes that we fish, for all of that things put and considered, the long end of it, I really don't think a motor is going to be too much of a advantage.
Okay.
We fish very small lakes in our area, and if you plan and you prep, you're gonna have just the same advantages if you're pedaling or paddling or relaxing, I guess. So we're gonna.
I like that little stab.
We're gonna give it a try. We're gonna allow people. I truly feel that the podiums are gonna not show that we have motors. Kind of. I think winners are gonna come from paddlers still.
Okay.
But it's getting with the times and it's breaking the bank, I guess. And people made me announce it before Black Friday so that they could all start getting all the Black Friday deals, which was pretty funny.
Nice. So everybody's wanting to motor up, huh?
Yeah, and it was an overwhelming, mantra, I guess, that people were just saying it's time, it's let's give it a try, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more and more of that throughout the industry. So we've got the majority of the organizations going that route, and even on the more elite level or the higher level stuff with KBS and Bass both allowing motors. Now we do have one series that said, hey, we're going to be no motors, we're going to be pedal and paddle only, and that's great. That gives people that don't want to participate in the motor stuff an option to fish that, which is really cool. Right. So I don't think there's a wrong or right here. I'm curious to see how your events go and talk to you later on to get your feelings on it and see if you've maybe swayed to the dark side a little bit more, if you're still trying to fight the good fight. What kind of kayak are you in? I don't think I asked that earlier.
I paddle a Jackson Liska.
Okay.
And if I'm in a bigger water and everything like that, I do have a Kusa FD that I paddle as well. So, okay. I am blessed to be on the Jackson Kayak Pro Staff team. So I got lucky enough. I got all the custom colors and stuff like
Very
that
cool.
before they stopped.
Very cool. Well, I got some fellow paddle and fin hosts that are also on the Jackson team, so know very well about that. Based off the pictures I'm seeing scrolling across the screen right here, it looks like you played around in a bigger kayak last year a little bit.
I did. I had for about half the season I had a Blue Sky, which is an amazing platform, a great boat. One of my buddies actually made me a really good offer on it, so I actually sold it to him. So, but it'll probably be in my future again. It's a really fun platform, especially if you see from the photos. I think when you have a big dog that wants to go fishing with you, it's a necessary boat.
Well, awesome. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, you get to see the photos here, and you'll see Justin's dog. Justin, what's the dog's name?
Her name's Dakota. She goes with me on pretty much every outing except for tournaments. Those are a little long for her, but she's always out there fishing with me.
Awesome, man.
Good
That's
dog.
Cool. That's cool. Well, hey, now that we got a little bit of background about your club and kind of how you guys organize it, let's talk about 2020. Let's talk about what's in it for the anglers. Let's go over the schedule real quick, and kind of get some insight on what you got going on. So, I typically will run through the schedule myself and kind of ask you questions about it. I am not going to attempt to name any of these lakes. Not my expertise.
Welcome to the Finger Lakes.
Yeah, and you guys up in the Northeast have the weirdest names for your lakes. I don't understand it. But I'm going to start with the first one because I can pronounce it. Hopefully, I can get this one right. But, for 2020, it looks like you guys are starting off in April. So that's going to be a pre-spawn where you guys are at. Good time of year. And that's the FG Charity Tournament. So tell us a little bit about the FG Charity Tournament.
Yeah, so we do this every year. This is how we start our season. It's the Fuzzy Guppies. My kayak shop, we sponsor it with, kind of selfishly a little bit. I think we sponsor it with NYKBF. We do a tournament. Yeah, right. We do a charity tournament to start off the season. It, like you said, it is in April, so it's a little touchy. Last year, I think the temperature at the morning captain's meeting was about 34 degrees.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cold. We did luck out, and it did warm up to mid 50s or whatever. But
nice.
It's a cold bite. It's a nice slow cold bite, but it gets people out, shaking their the dust off of their equipment and everything. I spend literally all winter long, to my suppliers, to my, reps, and to my companies that I've grown really in good touch with, I guess. getting prizes, because everything,
Nice.
all the money that we bring in for the charity tournament goes towards a local foundation, which is called the Tristan Foundation.
Okay.
It's a suicide prevention foundation for around the Finger Lakes region.
That's great.
About 3 years ago now, one of my employees, his name was Tristan. Actually, he passed away way too soon, and took it better than I would ever expect anybody to take that kind of situation, and started this foundation that literally goes around and talks about the people that are left behind by suicide, and that what it affects. I can't believe it, and I'm still talking about it 3 years from now ago. But we have an amazing show of people in our area. People come from Canada, Ohio, Pennsylvania. They all come for this event, and it's basically just for prizes and fun. I have food trucks that come up for the event. We have a local brewery that comes, and they do their artisan sodas and beer and wine and stuff like that there. And it's just a great, wholesome, fun event that we have, to kind of start off the season. I think 2019 was obviously our biggest year that we've had for that one. We raised almost $3,000 for the charity.
Awesome.
Which was very humbling. So it's a number I strive to beat for 2020. But
Of course.
just amazingly humble that all these people came out. So
Man.
we're going to be doing that again. It's still the river system that Fuzzy Guppy sits on, and it feeds Cuba Lake and Seneca Lake, which are the two biggest of the Finger Lakes in our area. Cuba Lake is one of the most fished lakes in New York State as far as Bassmasters and FLW is concerned. They're always there. It's a very nice fishery. So we always open that up to it, because we just want people to have fun and fish and just catch a ton of them.
Wow, man. Gosh, I don't even know what to say. I've dealt with that in my family and within my circle, so I know a little bit about how hard that is, and that's awesome that you guys have found a way to give back to that family and to the community by supporting that. Guys, if you're listening to the podcast right now, take a second, pause it, whatever you need to do. Jot that down. If you're in the area, within driving distance, or heck, if you want to travel, good for you. April 18th is that charity event with NYKBF. Mark that down on the calendar, enter it in your phone, hit Justin up. We'll get Justin's information here in a little bit, but definitely go out and support that event if you can at all. So
that's nice. That's nice of you. Thank you very much.
No problem, Justin. That's what Paddle and Fin's all about. That's what this show's all about. It's all about the community and giving back to it. So anything we can do to help, that's the smallest little thing we can do. So
thank you. And that's what we strive to do. We do that event obviously for the Tristan Foundation, and then every Christmas we do a toy drive for our local Toys for Tots.
Love it.
We call it Yakking for the Holidays.
Love it.
And we partner with local Bass Pro Shops and other businesses and everything, and I think this year we got about 1,100 toys that we delivered to the local Marine Toys for Tots.
Cool.
So it was like it's pretty awesome to see our community come out and support some great causes throughout the year, as well as have a blast.
Awesome, man. I love hearing that. So glad we have you on the show talking about those things. All right, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that event, is that just a normal event, or is that included in the Angler of the Year race? Is that a part of your season, or is that just a charity event?
Yeah, no, it's part of our event. It's part of our season. It's a traditional event. The only thing that's different from the other ones is there's no cash prizes in our charity tournament. It's all big ticket, prizes and big ticket items and stuff like that are going to go to the winners. All the cash goes to the local charity.
Awesome. Love it.
Every other event is ran, pretty similarly to the charity event, but you get the top 3 get cash payouts. So,
awesome.
yeah, we don't keep anything. We're all obviously a non-for-profit organization, so all the money that comes in goes back out to our winners and everything. So we've had some pretty good. We've had pretty close to $700-800 for first place payouts for the 2019 season, which I think is pretty good for a local trail. I'm pretty happy with that.
Day local event. Are you kidding? Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
And plus obviously you get the sponsor prizes and things like that on top of that.
Awesome.
So.
And we're going to give a shout out to those sponsors here in a little bit, but let's move on and talk a little bit more about these other upcoming events you got going on. So kind of give us a rundown through the rest of these, because I'm not going to try and pronounce any more.
It's all good, yeah. So the next tournament after the charity tournament, we go to Canandaigua Lake. Canandaigua Lake is this time of the year is going to be really big. It's going to be a smallmouth just slam fest. There's just a ton of them in there, and they're really kind of easy to catch that time of the year, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, who doesn't love that?
Yeah. The first 3, Canisius Lake and then Otisco, even Skinny Atlas going next to it, all of them are going to be pretty heavy in the smallmouth realm. Otisco is the only lake in 2020 that we did in 2019. I don't really like to go back. I don't really like to go to lakes back-to-back seasons. I like to kind of skip one just because there's so many. But we had such an amazing turnout for Otisco, and such an amazing leaderboard. We had to go back. I mean, it's just a great fishery.
Awesome.
Also, Otisco is really well known for tiger muskie, so it's always pretty fun if you're having a bad day. We found that out last year, that if you're having a bad day and you're not catching, you'll see people start posting pictures of muskie, and they'll be changing it up and just having fun and fishing for one of those beasts.
Very cool.
Skinny Atlas is a new lake for us. It's actually we've never fished a tournament there before. Okay. But Skinny Atlas is actually the city reservoir for Syracuse, New York.
Oh, okay.
So very, very clean lake. Very clear. So it'll be interesting. It'll see what people will do and everything like that, but it'll be fun. I call Skinny Atlas, the little town there, I call it like the Cape Cod of the Finger Lakes, because it's very old money, and it's very like posh. You just mansions and everything like that down the lake. Nice. And Adam West had a house there. You'd see him driving around in the Batmobile all the time.
Oh, cool.
It was pretty wild. So it's like that kind of like clientele and stuff. So it'll be pretty cool to kind of invade that cute little town with all of our craziness. Yeah, with all of our ruffians,
Good stuff.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we have fun with it. But Sodus Bay is actually a bay off of Lake Ontario. So it's a really large kind of tributary for that lake. So people will be, that time of the year, people will be fishing up north close to the lake for smallmouth, or they'll be down in the bottom fishing topwater for largemouth. Okay. So you'll get a mixed bag pretty heavily in that. So that's the tournament I think I'm most excited about, just because you'll get to learn a lot more about who people are and their fishing styles.
A little more challenging.
In that lake. It'll be pretty fun. And then Honeoye Lake is a very, very small lake, but it's full of fish. It should be a lot of fun for people. Let's see, and then we close off right before the state championship. We close off with Keuka, which is another one kind of similar to Skinny Atlas, so very clean, very like clear lake, but much bigger. It's a big lake.
Okay.
And all of these lakes, now that I run down it, honestly, with you here, all of these lakes are really good smallmouth lakes, and it should be a good season for those brownies.
Nice.
But you can't go wrong if you wanted to come up to New York and to try out one of our tournaments and check us out. You can't go wrong with any of them, honestly. They're just going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I mean, my season is crazy already booked. And that's what's so tough about doing these shows. Like, I talk to you guys, and I'm like, I want to go experience one of these events so bad. And I've got some friends in that area, in New York, in Jersey. I would love to get out there. You know, it would be tough to do it this year with all the national stuff that I'm doing and traveling, but it's not out of the question.
Oh, yeah, good.
It's not out of the question for sure. And we'll talk about your state championship here in a second, but there's something that you guys do that's really cool that I think it would be fun to participate in, and we haven't got into that yet. So maybe we can take a second from talking about the schedule and talk about this. I don't know what you call them or how you personally describe them, but they're like these costume themed events, and it's really cool. So let's talk about that, because if people are watching on YouTube and they're looking through the pictures we're scrolling, they're seeing Uncle Sam out there on the water, and they're probably every time it pops up, I don't know if you've noticed, like I get a little chuckle, a little smile, because it's just so cool. So let's talk about that real quick. There it is right now, actually.
Yeah. Is that all right, cool. So when we first started growing NYKBF and we were looking to branch out, we definitely wanted to try to stand out and to attract, anybody that wanted to come. I always say, NYKBF is the kayak tournament series for anybody. So whether you're in a $100 that you bought from your uncle, or you're in a $4,000 Hobie, you can rest assured that you'd feel welcome at one of our events. You're going to have fun. We always, leading into this, we always end our events at a local pub or restaurant that's on the water that we fished. We do our awards there, so people can come, they can grab a drink, they can grab a burger, they can sit next to somebody maybe that they fished with, or somebody that they don't know, talk about what worked, what didn't work, what they happen to have, catched, or what they didn't catch, what have you.
Nice.
But building on that, we started for 2019, we started doing these themes to our events, and we would do these little side pots and side prizes for the best, the best costume or the best decoration to their kayak for the theme, and it just got people really into it, right? So we do a live stream every week, once the season starts getting closer. And then, leading up to the events, we'll unveil the theme. Cool. Last year, one of our tournaments, the host was a country club that was on the lake that hosted us for our awards and stuff like that. So our theme was we did Caddyshack for our theme.
Oh, that's awesome.
So people were showing up in their, in their golf attire. People were wearing kayaks, golf spikes and golf gloves and, everything like that, and going all in, getting really into it. And just having fun and just enjoying their day on the water. 'Cause that's, in all honesty, that's what it's all about. It sure is a tournament. People want to win. People want to do well. They want to win prizes. Obviously, that's not what we're not taking away from that. But there's more to it than that.
Sure.
People want to go out and have fun and enjoy it. So the one you see down below was actually was around the 4th of July, and we did an American theme. I always go kind of all out as much as I can at the tournaments because I want other people to,
sure,
right?
So the example, set the tone.
I'm always out there at the captain's meeting dressed up like I'm ready to go to, Halloween.
Right.
And I let it, I say, if I win the theme prize or something like that, I'll carry it on and build it up for next week or next time, but I guess you'd be surprised, but for when I dressed up as Uncle Sam, I did not win.
No way. Who beat you?
I did not win.
Who beat you?
We had somebody that actually showed up in a full-fledged Captain America costume with the fake chest padding and everything.
I love it.
He put he taped American flag pinwheels to his kayak, it was just He went all
That's
out, and we
awesome.
had a bunch of people do that.
Did he have the shield? Did he bring the shield?
Yeah, had the
my
shield and
gosh.
everything. Wore it to the awards ceremony and everything. Just went all out, and he obviously beat me.
That's great.
Which I don't think is really fair. I think people expect it from me now, and then
Right.
when other people do it, they get all like, oh, it's just Justin. He doesn't deserve it, but
I love the competitive nature in you already. I love it. All right.
Again, I'm not bitter. I don't care about fishing. I want to win the costume. No.
That's awesome. So you guys, you got to do a Marvel-based theme this year. How awesome would that be? Like, just have everybody coming out in Marvel costumes.
I think that's a good one. I'm writing that down right now. But yeah, like one of our events, we did a luau. So people were coming in like Hawaiian shirts, and I don't know if I sent that picture to you, but there might be one down there of me in like a grass skirt kind of a thing.
I don't think I saw that one. If I think I would have remembered that.
I might have thought about sending that.
That's unfortunate. I'm gonna need to find that photo.
Yeah, it's out there. But we just, like I said, we just have fun with it, and I think people really like kind of feel more at ease about, I had a bad day on the water, but I get to go to the pub or something like that and hang out, and the one of the main tournaments, and this is just a little side note kind of a thing, that if you don't mind, but
go for it.
One of the really cool things that I always end my day early. I'll probably fish for maybe 2 hours out of the tournament, because I don't really ever enter the tournaments. I just go out and have fun. 'Cause I don't really compete too much, but I'm usually out there with like the big DLSR camera, taking pictures, flying the drone over, and taking videos of people. There's actually a couple tournaments that I actually crashed my drone and got it caught. Yeah, that's like a whole hour story, but it got it caught in a tree and had people like in the water trying to like throw rocks at it to knock it down. It was a mess. Goodness. It wasn't a fun day, but they still, everybody likes to still bring that up. But anyway, getting back to it, like I'll go and I'll take pictures of everybody and really like kind of make sure that they feel important to be out on the water, getting a really nice high def photo of them catching a fish, or at least just trying to, is pretty neat, I think, to them. And then I'll go back and I'll set up for the awards and stuff. But one of the first tournaments that we did last year, I was setting up, and we had a couple people that were starting to come and get ready, and they had ordered some dinner or something like that, and these guys were sitting with one another. There's 4 of them at a table. None of them knew each other, which was pretty neat. They were just, they got there at the same time and walked in together and were talking. And one guy was like, oh, I couldn't buy a bite today. Like there was, nothing. There's no fish in this lake. I heard him say, and he's sitting there talking with the guy that caught 60 fish that day and is, currently in first place. And that guy's, talking about, oh, well, like what did you try to do? What were you fishing with? Where were you fishing? And he would tell him, and he goes, oh, I did this and this and this. Like, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's go and, we'll do this tomorrow. We'll go back out there and we'll get you on some fish in this lake.
Awesome.
And they ended up going back out the next day and fishing again and like redoing it. And, and that right there, that story is something like I love reliving, because it's exactly why I started the series.
Thanks for sharing that, man. Again, that's the brotherhood, right there. That's what it's all about. That's awesome. That guy's probably learned more that day than he had in a long time.
Yeah, that's the mantra too that I wanted to kind of have NYKBF have of. It doesn't matter if you had a good day or a bad day. You're out there having a good day on the water. Talk to people, enjoy it, meet people, and have fun. That's what it's all about.
That's great, man. That's great. So, but it is a tournament series, and it is competition, and it is about, for some guys, it's about those titles and then getting those cash and those checks. So you guys are rounding out your season on September 26th, 27th, that 2-day event that you talked about. It says state championship here. We don't have a lake. What's the story there?
So we always try to announce the lake in the beginning of the season. We did it a little early, so the lake is announced. We did announce it like about 2 weeks ago. We have a pretty big lake right by Syracuse called Oneida Lake. It's pretty well known. It's a pretty big it's a pretty big smallmouth fishery, but it's a bass heaven. So we're going to be there for 2 days at the end of September. And that time of the year, the smallmouths start getting a little bit hungrier again. They should be waking back up a little bit from their deep movement there. But but we go all out for that tournament, and that one is a big deal. So we partner with local campgrounds in the area. We get restaurants and food trucks and everything, and we just make it a really big, like, kind of family event too.
Awesome.
So, people that'll come, they'll bring their families, they'll all come, and, we'll make sure that we plan activities for, the other family members that aren't fishing or whatnot and stuff. So we have a lot of fun though.
That's cool. So, let's put you on the hot seat real quick. You got 3 guys, you think top 3 guys for the championship Angler of the Year race. Who you putting there?
For this year?
Who you putting at your top 3?
Oh man, that's a hard one. There is a lot of people that I could put in that top 3 because it is a long race, depending on who comes and who fishes well. I'm not gonna do it, man. I don't know.
All right. That's smart, man.
Well, Jake Moulton, who was our Angler of the Year in 2019, he has a good schedule here for him. I think he's gonna be the one to beat again.
Okay.
He's not gonna like me saying that because he's a very humble guy, and he's not gonna want his name out there. And it's probably going to hurt him because I think a lot of people are going to be following him around a little bit, depending on where he's going.
Right.
But 2018 was our first year that we did the Angler of the Year, and a gentleman by the name of Michael Shoemaker won that, and he was actually in second place in 2019.
Man, Shoemaker, that's a racing name. Like that's not
right?
A fisherman. That's a racing name right there.
I tell you, man. Yep. You'll see. He's probably in some of the pictures I sent to you here. He has a blue sky for 2019, and he's gonna be a force to reckon with. Those 2 guys are gonna be hard. And there's another guy. His name's Gary Hahn. He was in the mix and everything too. He's in a Hobie though, so I don't really like to promote people in Hobies. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, not really, but really. Just kidding.
Kinda, sorta.
Sorry, not sorry. But he had a good run this year. There's so many names that I could do, but. Yeah. And you never know. You can never write me out either. So
all right, nice. Calling you shots. I like it. Well, a safe bet. Always going with the Angler of the Year. That's a safe bet always. So I don't blame you going that route.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be, but that's how hard it's hard for me to call it out because it's anybody's game.
It is. That's what's cool about our sport. You put in the work and you show up to play and you do the right things and make the right choices. You're in it to win it. So, all right, very cool. Well, you do have some pretty stout anglers there. I mean, that's for sure. You guys qualified 15 guys for the national championship this year?
Yeah, well, more than that. But I think about 15 are actually making the trip down. So we're gonna have a pretty good delegation going down there. I think a bunch of them are getting houses together and just having fun and stuff, and a bunch of people from there's our neighbor organization, which is Adirondack Kayak Bass Fishing, which is on the up in the Adirondack Park in New York.
Sure.
They have a bunch of people. They have a bunch of people that I think are going down. Good organization up there. Adirondacks are always fun to fish. So we'll see. There should be a lot of New Yorkers down there. Even though I know, he was listed as a New Yorker, but Greg Blanchard did pretty good for us in 2019 for the. He was listed as a New Yorker, but he's obviously out in California now. But he was listed on New York. He was listed as New York on the leaderboard,
Nice.
so we'll claim him still. We'll claim him still.
Right. Of course you will. Who wouldn't?
But no. But he's a good buddy of mine. He comes out and fishes a couple of our events in May and stuff. Right. So I'm just busting his chops if he listens.
Nice. Okay. Very cool, man. Well, I think you got a good thing going over there, man. Definitely seems like it's about the anglers and it's about fun, and that's always cool. And it looks like from the picture you guys fish some really beautiful water up there. So yeah, we were really blessed. Yeah, if you're listening and you're in the area and you haven't checked out NYKBF, make sure you do that. Justin, how can people find the club and you?
Yeah, super easy. NYKBF is on Facebook and Instagram. Just do a search for NYKBF, New York Kayak Bass Fishing. We also have a website, nykbf.com. And then that's where you can see our schedule. You can see our membership program and everything like that. Pretty easy. And I'm on Instagram as American Kayaker. That's my handle, and that's my personal handle. Reach out, and love to talk to you. And if you're coming into the area, love to get you on the water.
Awesome. Well, hey, we couldn't do this stuff without the support of some amazing brands and people. So you want to take a second to shout out some of those awesome sponsors and support team you have?
I'd love to, yeah. Obviously it's a group effort. I couldn't do NYKBF without my other tournament directors. So John Tomorrow and Ryan Cullen, those guys are the backbones of the organization. They allow me to kind of have fun and be a goof, during tournament day. They do all the real work. It is a group effort. And then our great sponsors, we got Jackson Kayak, Bending Branches Paddles, Noqua Adventure Gear, donate to all of our events, which is amazing. Yak Attack, Saviors, Savior Outdoors. The list goes on and on. We can't do it with all of those guys. So, check out, nykbf.com. You can check out a list of all of our sponsors and all of our partners. We're welcoming in more every day, which is pretty cool. But yeah, definitely. So thank you to all of them.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, anything else you want to throw out there before we wrap this thing up?
No, just I appreciate your time. I'm excited to be on the show. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. We're getting close to wrapping up this tournament director series that we've been doing here throughout the off season. Things are really getting ready to start firing up here very soon. We got a guy from the Carolinas lined up next week. You'll have to stay tuned. That's going to be a good episode. We got him lined up next week, and then boom, we go right into Invitational. The Hobie Bass Open Series is firing up, and a lot of the southern and western clubs and trails really starting to kick off. So we're going to dive deep into getting back into tournament recaps and bringing on. We're going to be doing some cool stuff this coming season, everyone. We're instead of just doing one guest, we're going to try and bring on multiple guests per episode for you. Maybe top 3 at some of these bigger events, maybe a guy from a smaller event. So we're going to try and do some cool stuff here in 2020. Hopefully you guys like, if you're watching on YouTube, you like this whole new software program stuff all over your screen. We're playing with that still. We're dialing that in, but hopefully that brings a new element to the show, and we hope you guys like that. But with that being said, we're gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you again, Justin, for coming on and being a part of this.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. And thank you all for listening or watching on YouTube. Make sure you give us a follow on Instagram at Paddle and Fin. Check us out on Facebook. Check out the Paddle and Fin website. You can see all the different hosts, the gear we use, read our blog, shop a little bit. We got some new TRC covers, Paddle and Fin branded TRC covers. Those things are awesome and they float, so check those out. And of course, well, I don't even have it. Do I have one? Here, somewhere. Wearing the Wicked Weights hat right now. But, boom, we got some Paddle and Fin hats for you guys. If you want to support the show, hit us up, give us a message on Facebook, send us an email, hit us up on the website. You know what to do. All right, guys, I'm going to stop talking. Get out of here. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Deuces.